Ja, da freut es mich ganz besonders. Ganz kurz, wer jetzt hier auf die Bühne kommt, Dan ist im Grunde der Urvater von Solid Edge. Der hat seit der V1, seit 1994, 93 bei Intergraph mit das Produkt auch geprägt, mit erfunden, mitentwickelt, ist seitdem und heute vor allem die letzte Instanz, die da entscheidet, was in der Entwicklung passiert und was nicht. Und deswegen freut es mich wirklich, wirklich persönlich, auch ein sehr, sehr zugänglicher Mensch, sehr netter Mensch. Schnappen Sie ihn, sprechen Sie mit ihm. Der freut sich über den Austausch, der freut sich darüber, von Ihnen zu erfahren, was Sie bewegt, was Sie tun, weil darum geht es dann auch bei denen. Sie wollen verstehen, wie deren Lösung Ihnen dabei helfen kann, ihre Ziele zu erreichen. Und von daher bitte ich und mit einem kräftigen Applaus einmal Dan Staples und Kevin Morin auf die Bühne.
Hello and welcome. I'm very excited to be here. I always enjoy my journeys to Germany and to speak with you. I apologize, I'll be speaking in English, but I know many of you have excellent English and I appreciate your tolerating me. I first want to start by thanking Subfina. As you know, you saw Subfina's amazing technology, but Subfina also is an amazing customer and partner to us. And we agreed with Subfina that they would share their data set with us. So the machine you see here is going to be used throughout the presentation. I'm here on stage with Kevin Moran, who's a senior application engineer in our group. And we'll be taking you through the Solid Edge 2024 release with the Subfina machine. I'd also like to say, though, that also in this audience there are many, many amazing machines and products. And so working with Subfina, this is obviously great public relations, great advertising for Subfina as well. So if you'd like to partner with us in the future and work with us to feature your products, we'd be happy to do that in 2025, 26, whatever works for you. So please do talk with us about that. We'd be happy to work with you. I want to also say a couple thank yous. So, Dankeschön. The first thank you is to ESAP for being our partner and your partner for 30 years, right? We can't exist here together without ESAP in the middle. They connect me with you and you with my development team. And so I truly appreciate that. But I also really appreciate our German customers, you folks in the audience, because Solid Edge is the great product it is today because of you. I've spent many times over here in Germany with customers telling me early on how much my product needed to improve. You must do this, you must do that. Well, that is why Solid Edge is as good as it is today. Working with you in partnership makes Solid Edge a better product, and I'm happy to work with you on an ongoing basis. So I want to get into Solid Edge 2024 with you, but I also want to describe to you a little bit more about what's going on in the industry, what's going on with business, before we talk specifically about Solid Edge 2024. Now, I know that many of you are already very far along in your journey in digital transformations. Others of you are beginning your journey, and everybody's at a different point. But we want to help you in your digital transformation. That's what we're here to do. So as we do this, we started a study with a company called IDC a couple of years ago on what do small and mid-sized businesses need? What do they prioritize? And so we did a global survey. And so you understand, when we say small and mid-sized businesses, that can actually be a pretty large business, up to say $1 billion in annual revenue or turnover. And we said, what do these companies need? We talked to them, what are their priorities? And fully 72% of these companies said that digital technologies, digital transformation is the key to leveling the playing field with the other giant companies. It's how we can succeed. Folks like Subfina can continue to grow into much larger companies. And we dug down a level deeper also and said, well, what are your priorities? What are your technology priorities? And it was very interesting to see that cloud computing was a priority. At a little bit over a quarter of people said it's a priority right now. And really nearly half the people said it would be a priority in the next 12 months. So this is something that's emerging. We all hear about cloud a lot on TV and in magazines and so on. And it's something that we are spending a good bit of time on at Siemens Digital Industries Software and in the Solid Edge team. And we'll talk about a few of the advancements we've made there in recent years. These technologies, one of the technologies that we're going to talk about today is something called Team Center Share. And Team Center Share is fully integrated with Solid Edge to allow you to collaborate with your colleagues. I don't think any of us could have anticipated 3 or 4 years ago that the global pandemic would change the way we do business, right? We used to all come to the office together. We used to all work together in the office. And now we're everywhere throughout the world. We may be even in the same city, but all in our homes working together. And so collaboration has become very important. And it really provides amazing, amazing results. This is a company called Plastic Fisher, a startup. They were able to achieve 100% faster design and 75% faster manufacturing. And this is primarily because they're collaborating amongst many colleagues, and Team Center Share allows them to do that. But it's not just Plastic Fisher. First of all, Plastic Fisher does, as I say, amazing stuff. Plastic Fisher is a startup that prevents river plastic trash in rivers from reaching the ocean. They collect it and are able to harvest it out. But there are many other startups in the Solid Edge ecosystem doing amazing things around the world. $1 glasses. I find this absolutely amazing. This startup can create a pair of eyeglasses for less than $1 in materials. And not only that, but the machine that produces the glasses requires no electricity at all. And so it can be put into any economy. So even the poorest economies in the world can create glasses for less than $1 in materials. Or Blue Flux Energy. Blue Flux Energy takes waste products and turns them into usable energy. These are just a few of the startups that are really making the world a better place using Solid Edge. And one of the reasons they're able to do this is the investment we've made over many years. So over the past several years, Siemens Digital Industries Software has actually invested more than 10 billion euros in working with other companies to bring them into the portfolio so that we can provide these technologies to you. And one of our missions in the mainstream team or the Solid Edge team is to democratize or be able to bring these technologies in a way that's very useful to small and mid-sized businesses. But it's not only about businesses and startups, companies of all sizes. We have to start earlier in the process, right? We have an engineering gap today. Young people are not deciding to be engineers. Why is that? One of the reasons is they don't fully understand how exciting engineering is, and we all know how exciting it is. We're introducing a new product, and I want you to understand this is not a CAD product. We're introducing a new product called Siemens Hour of Engineering. It's completely free, and it's targeted really to grades 6 through 9. It has nothing to do with how do you model CAD things. It's what do engineers do? What is analytical thinking? How do I design products? What is the product design process? And so we really want to start building from the ground up that next generation of engineers. And so this is a screenshot of the very first landing page. You can go to hourofengineering.com. And you see that it's nothing like, Solid Edge. It's not a CAD system. What is engineering? How do I design a product? How do I think and act like an engineer? And they're fun activities that engage students in that age group so that later they can become the engineers of tomorrow. Now, this is all enabled by Siemens Accelerator. Siemens Accelerator is an integrated portfolio of software services and an application development platform that helps you speed your digital transformation. So I know that many of you in here are working in Solid Edge CAD, and that's a great thing. But there's so much more to Accelerator than that. Of course, there's electronics, there's simulation, there's manufacturing, there's collaboration, IoT analytics. The entire platform works together in one seamless way. And of course, the best place to start with this digital transformation, Siemens Accelerator, is Solid Edge. And I think many of you know this, but I want to remind you, and I saw this with Marcus, and I saw this with Hoimer and other people, there's much more to Solid Edge than a CAD system these days, right? So it started out as solid CAD modeling. That's what we do. And that's still there, the best mechanical design system on the planet. I will say it out loud. Okay. But also electrical, simulation, manufacturing, publications, data management. It's all there in the Solid Edge portfolio. So if you haven't explored the other aspects, I think you really should. There can be much more horizontal integration in your organization, mechanical and electrical, or vertical integration like mechanical to manufacturing, as Marcus just said, with Solid Edge CAM Pro. So with that background, what's new? As I say, we're always working with you to make the product better. We'll talk in about an hour with those of you who choose here to stay here in the room. We'll have a roundtable where we'll talk about how can we make the product better. That's literally why me and my team exist, is to make your life easier, and I want to know how I can make your life easier. So let's talk about Solid Edge 2024. What have you done for me lately? Solid Edge 2024 is a huge release for us. Every release is a big release, but this is, of course, the biggest and best ever. We've worked a lot on graphical performance, particularly for large assemblies. I'm not talking about an assembly of 2,000 parts, 5,000 parts, but let's say 50,000 parts, 100,000 parts. Met with a customer, I guess it was a few months ago, a 1,000,000-part assembly. The biggest performance gains are in the biggest assemblies, and those of you who've worked with Solid Edge in beta have seen this. We've also done some really amazing work in AI with assembly relationships based on AI. Solid Edge Design Configurator, adaptive roughing, the list just goes on, and we'll get into it and see what this is all about. Now, as I said, we've been working with our beta customers really literally for almost a year now on the Solid Edge 2024 release, and Karsten, who I saw both last night at the event, and I think I saw Karsten also this morning from FOCA. Everything's better and better, everything is faster. Faster is better. So just as he's excited to share it with his team, I hope that all of you are as well. So what did we do exactly? Let's first talk about productivity enhancements. These are the things that you use daily, all the things that, I wish it did this a little different, I wish it did that a little different. These are the things we've been delivering on, and one of the things is integrating AI into the process. So let's go to Kevin and see how all this works.
Okay, so let's start off by looking at the FINA super finishing machine. And we're going to open up the finishing tool and holder subassembly. As we expand the assembly features folder, we can see that we've got a couple of cutouts and a hole. We need to add a couple more features, being around and some chamfers. New inside Solid Edge 2024 is the ability to quickly and easily reorder the features in the folder, just like you would do in your part environment. So we can control the parent-child relationships to get results exactly as we need. One of the components for the subassembly is to be 3D printed, and we need to add a couple of additional holes so we can locate it to the other parts. New in Solid Edge 2024 is the ability to add additional clearances to the holes, either as a percentage or an absolute value. Using the percentage option, we can control the internal diameter as a percentage to the nominal diameter with respect to a sketch. If we want to use an absolute value, we can then put in a specific measurement. To finish off the assembly, we need a finishing tool. We can quickly place this with a mate, planar relationship, and an axonal line. New for Solid Edge 2024 is the ability to quickly and easily deal with conflicting relationships with the Resolve Relationship Conflict tool. As we highlight over these, it will show the faces that we can potentially go through and suppress to try and solve the issue. Selecting a different option, we can quickly see that this is resolved and our component snaps into place just as we expect. There's been some improvements to replace part with the introduction of artificial intelligence, just as Dan said. Now when we're going through and replacing parts, we can have the system automatically predict both planar or axial relations to give us the best possible solution. In the secondary window, the users can flick through the different options available and choose the one that's most appropriate for their design task. Moving over to the variables table, with a lot of options when it comes to actually filtering. We can see there's a large number of variables inside these super finishing machines. But filtering this down is very easy for users, and we can change the user variables, system variables, or a combination of both. To further fine-tune this and get to the specific variables that we need to modify, we can select a component or subassembly, change to a select set, and that way we only have to deal with the variables that are relevant to this change. We want to relocate the finishing tool position, and we could change the swivel angle, and then the height, changing the NC axis value. Back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks so much. So you saw several things in there, and there's a lot more of those, let's call them daily enhancements, but a few things. The first is the 3D printed thread, the ability to control that size. You may say, why do I need this? Because obviously when you have a screw that goes into a hole and it's threaded, that's all got certain tolerances, all fits perfectly. But the reality is when you're actually doing a 3D print, it won't fit perfectly because the 3D print is not the same as a machined part. And so this is a requirement that's been around for a little bit, the ability to resize for 3D printing to make sure that your 3D printed parts are going to work properly. You also saw the new AI enhanced relationships. So when you're replacing parts in assembly, I think you've certainly seen this. Typically, the way a part is replaced is by matching up the faces based on what we call tags, the number of the faces and how they're tagged. But of course, if it comes from a different source, from a different vendor, a different designer, the tags aren't going to be the same. And so it's always been a bit of a problem to be able to replace that part in the assembly and have it come in the proper location. AI solves that by looking at the geometric solutions and providing you alternatives. And what we see is that customers, again, beta customers like Ariel, who makes very large compressors, lets them do more of the fun stuff. I like that. We all have so much to do. Let's let the computer do the hard stuff. Let the engineers do the fun stuff.
Okay. Searching inside Solid Edge has never been easier to find your parts. With search wildcards available in the parts library, model view palette, and here if inside the assembly pathfinder, we can quickly and easily go through and find the components that we're looking for. With search wildcards, we've got the ability to search on partial or uncertain terms or variations in the spellings. Located parts and subassemblies are highlighted in different shades of green. Here on the sheet metal part, when we go to family of parts, we now have support for flat pattern. It allows us to easily and quickly create our drawings and annotations. We've also enhanced the family of parts with the ability to deal with properties, variables, and sketches. As we create new family members, we can see we can now apply different materials to each member. We've also got the ability to control the suppressions of sketches and etches as well. Reviewing the different members, as we change to the left variant, we can see a different material on the etch updates, the same for the right as well. We need to make a modification to some holes. A great new feature inside Solid Edge 2024 is the ability to select by polygon or lasso fence selection. Here we can quickly use the lasso fence selection and easily identify the 4 holes we need to modify, and then we can do the quick change. Selecting geometry has never been easier. We need to create a handed variant of this component, and we can use the new enhanced workflows to save as mirrored part. As we go through and select a face, give a name and hit save, we got our new handed variant of this component created. Now there's options to link to the original, however in this instance we don't want to. What you'll notice on the left hand side is we've got fully replicated history of how that part was put together in order mode, and we can change that downstream. In the 3D environment we've now got bend lines on the models as well. Blue for up, green for down, and of course you can customize these to your own company standards. Moving over to ExpressRoute, there's some great new tools enhanced for when we come to trim tubes. Here we can see we've got our main cleaning pipe and 3 runoff pipes, but there's an overlap in the geometry. Using the new trim tubes, we can select our primary and secondary tubes, and the software does all the automatic trimming for us. The outside diameter of the smaller tubes creates the cut inside the main tube, And the end profiles also trim back to the main profile as well. A new recent document preview allows us to get to our most recent documents while staying inside the Solid Edge window. Here we've got our final component we need to modify. We need some cutouts, which should be representing a punch-in form. We've got some solid bodies for the punches. We can select our target and the tool steps, and this is automatically created. However, there are some regions left within the geometry. Not a problem. We can use the internal regions, which automatically goes through and selects the area we don't want to remove these for us, just helping that process and speeding up our workflow time. Back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Kevin. So lots of great stuff in there. I want to just highlight a few things. The first is the left and right-handed parts. So this might not be obvious. We've had the ability to create right and left-handed parts for 20 years, right? But what it's created always is just a body. The original has always got the feature tree, and the body's just an output, and that's it. This has been a tough problem to crack, but in Solid Edge 2024, we now create a fully featured tree for both sides of the right and left-handed parts, and you can disconnect the two if you want to make those trees different. So very powerful stuff, been on the list for a while in Solid Edge 2024. And as I say, so much more. Many things that the customers in this room have been asking for, things like polygon lasso selection, long time coming, delivered in Solid Edge 2024. Lots of stuff in family of parts, the ability to put in coordinate system sketches, etches, those kind of things, different materials per family member, all sorts of things there. I think the variable tables filters are going to be really powerful. Variable table can get extremely complicated as you build complicated assemblies. Being able to really get down to what you need is great. You saw the resolve conflicting relationships, reorder assembly features, sheet metal bend center lines in the 3D environment. This is just a short list of what all's in Solid Edge 2024 for what I call daily work. Lots of great things in there. Daniel Schultz at Kaiser, also a beta customer, looking at the software early, really listens to their customers, and I hope you find that to be true. I really feel like Solid Edge is as good as it is today, best CAD product in the world, because of the folks in this audience and the other folks here in Germany. And so we want to listen to you, and we'll talk more again later in an hour or so, and talk about the things we can do different and better for Solid Edge 2025, 26, 27, whatever it may be. The next thing is best-in-class large assemblies, and I really feel confident that Solid Edge is best-in-class in large assemblies. You guys in this room are the ones who push us always, right? We used to make small assemblies, then we made machines, then we made large machines, then we made factory layouts of lots of large machines, and it just gets bigger and bigger every year. As I say, I was recently at a customer with a million parts, and that's a pretty stupendous thing to see. We also are, for example, the CAD system at Chantiers d'Atlantique. When you see one of these giant cruise ships go through that has 15 to 25 or 22 decks of stuff, that's all Solid Edge stuff these days. So what are we talking about exactly? It really is the ability to deal with extraordinarily large things. We in fact had to make a mock-up here. So you see there's 5 or 6 Subfina machines, there's an automatic bartending machine, there's a bunch of bulldozers, there's a bunch of helicopters, and these are all fully detailed with all their parts in there. And as you can see, there's no lag or stutter. As I say, it can be up to 9 times faster. And one of the things that's really important too is it's not only faster when you rotate, but I'm sure you've all seen this when you hit the button to go rotate, and it just takes a second, and then it starts. And it's only a second, but it's an annoying second. Well, that annoying second no longer exists. It will start instantly rotating as soon as you press the button. And we've seen this. This happens to be John Matthews at Hatch. They make giant mining and construction equipment. Just makes everything faster. He sees this improving his designers' productivity by as much as 30%. We've also worked on some of the visualization as well, so we can do real-time visualization of large assemblies, but including the backgrounds and so on. In the past, this typically would rotate inside of the background, But here you can make a much more real-world simulation by keeping the background rotating as well, and it's available both for panoramic image and reflection box types. Next up is Design Configurator, and I want you to pay special attention here, because I know that people in this audience have many configurations of their designs, right? It's unusual that you just design one machine, okay, we're done. But you have many different configurations. That's why we have family of parts, family of assemblies, and so on. But what Design Configurator lets you do is tap the knowledge of your senior engineer to be able to say, how do these configurations work? And then let junior engineers or salespeople, they can configure products very quickly then. So let's take a look at how this works with Kevin.
Manufacturers are facing increasing pressure by their customers to offer a greater choice and variety in their products. This can lead to an increase in the number of product variants that the organizations need to define, author, and manage. New in Solid Edge Design Configurator, we now have pre-configured models that allow us to quickly and easily place intelligent data sets for things such as ladders, conveyors, and enclosures into our design. And this speeds up our workflows. Here we can see we're placing some ladders. As we go to place the second one in a few seconds' time, we can automatically make some modifications. Now, the important thing here is we're kind of editing sub-assemblies directly inside the assembly environment. With a few kind of changes to the dimensions, to change the length, the ladder will automatically update to give us 2 sections, and the rules will automatically add in a hoop section as well due to the actual length of the variables. All this done, it's speeding up the process of how we work. To finish off the assembly, we need to add in a cabinet. We can quickly and easily place this. We can go through and make some dimensional changes for the size we need, pick on the color variation as well. You know, things have never been easier inside for customers to get their designs started quickly with inside Solid Edge using Design Configurator.
Is there more to that?
There was a bit more, but that's fine.
Okay. All right. So Design Configurator, what you saw there was using Design Configurator. And what's new in Solid Edge 2024 is that we offer these pre-configured data sets. So conveyors and ladders are offered, for example. Oh, there's a bunch on the conveyors there. Sorry, I kind of cut you off there. And you can download those at no additional cost. The part that you really didn't see there is how this works. So there's the ability for the senior design engineer to define those configurations. How do the different configurations work? And then what you saw on the right-hand side there is just a very simple interface, a few key-ins for a junior engineer or a sales engineer to produce actual products or sales proposals. And again, now in Solid Edge 2024, we deliver the ladders and we deliver the conveyors as well, as you see here. Now, not only that, we've also delivered a new product called Design Configurator Connect. And this allows you, not everybody has Solid Edge. I know that's shocking news, but your sales engineers might only have a web browser. And if you have a web browser, you can now actually run Design Configurator in a web browser. And in this case, we're configuring a sauna. There's a whole bunch of information about right or left steam, how big is the sauna, all the different configurations that you might do. But this is all simply running in a web browser. So this sales engineer does not need any Solid Edge. He doesn't need anything complicated. He fills out a few simple dialogues, and the next thing you know, he's got a fully configured product to present to his customer. Or alternatively, actual customers can run this as well. You could put this on your website, be able to configure products directly on your website by your customer base. And we're seeing a good uptake of this product. Again, folks at Ariel are taking a look at this. It really allows you to customize assemblies very easily. As I know, there's a lot of design engineering locked up in the heads of people in this room, and Design Configurator lets you take that information and make it more widely available to your organization to increase your design throughput. And some great news as well, which is I think you will all benefit from this product, and we're actually offering a limited time discount of 30% on Solid Edge Design Configurator. This runs through January, so talk to your ESAP person if you want to take advantage of the 30% off here over the next couple months. Next up is model-based definition. Now, I travel all around the world, and I will tell you that not every country is as advanced as Germany in this topic, right? Model-based definition says, why should some information be in the model and some in the drawing? So, for example, tolerances. I say, what's the tolerance on that hole? And you say, I don't know, I'll have to look in the drawing. And we think the model should own everything. The model should be the truth. And yet, it's not the truth. The model is part of the truth, and the drawing is part of the truth, and that's really just not right. So the notion is to take the information that's in the drawing, push it up into the model, and then be able to use that downstream. Now, importantly, before we get into this, I want you to understand that I'm not saying you must create 3D dimensions and information and then create smart PDFs and every engineer has a terminal and all that. I'm not saying that. That is happening, especially in Germany, with our more advanced customers. It's all 3D, there are no more drawings, but that's a slow road. And so I know many of you customers will still create drawings, that's great, and we will support you in that. But I want you to start thinking about putting the dimensions and annotations in the model and then create the drawing as an output only, not as a big part of your process. And then later, as you become more sophisticated, you can move to a full 3D, eliminate drawings, but I'm not going to rush you at that. But start thinking about getting the information all into the model. So let's take a look at how this works then.
Okay, Solid Edge Advanced PMI and model-based definition allows you to intelligently define and annotate 3D models for consumption in downstream manufacturing processes. For the improved auto dimension tool in Solid Edge, now allows you to use just 1 or 2 datums for more freedom when automatically dimensioning turn parts. Using our recent document preview, we'll go to a different bracket. And this has been partially dimensioned. Using the new dimension checker, we can determine a primary, secondary, and tertiary plane, and we'll get a color-coded report back to give us the information of what features are under constrained and if there's any missing tolerances. Picking onto the dimension, which is highlighted as having a missing tolerance, we can quickly apply this. Next, we have to deal with the under-constrained features for the holes in the slots. Again, we can use the auto dimension tool to take care of this. All we need to do is pick the primary, secondary, and tertiary faces, and it does the rest of it for us. With a quick refresh, we can see that the display window updates to say we've got a fully constrained model which we can now use. We wish to create some model views with all the PMI information. New in Solid Edge 2024 is a new Common Models View dialog. This lists out all our common model views, and we can just select the ones that are applicable to us. This carries over all the PMI information as well. Any changes that we wish to make, we can do so in the vertical command bar. So maybe we'll add a section view to the first view. We might want to change the render display, and we can do that nice and easy as well, just using the drop-down dialog. We need to tidy this up, and we can use the Arrange Dimensions command. This now supports both linear and coordinate dimensions that can be arranged around a model. With a quick update, all of the model views are updated, showing the latest information. Auxiliary plane indicators can be added, giving more freedom to annotate your models based on ISO or DIN standards. If we wish to convey design intent for downstream manufacturing processes, we can do that with 3D PDFs that can be published using templates. Here we can see we've got all our views with the PMI that we've just created, including the section views, different render styles, and all the information. We can also work with assemblies, with intelligent parts list, as we select the individual rows, that the rows are highlighted, and the graphics area highlights the components as well. We also have support for Step AP242 and JT files that can be added into your 3D PDFs. Interoperability enhancements allow your Solid Edge files to look the same when opened across any of the Siemens Accelerator portfolio products, such as the NX. The improved PMI association and support for various PMI data provides increased connectivity for downstream applications. And finally, new in Solid Edge 2024 is the Discovery Center. Here we can go to the trials drop-down, and we could get a 30-day trial of Solid Edge Advanced PMI, and there's other trials available as well. Dan.
All right, thanks. So this is an area of very active work for us. We're continuing to invest a lot in MBD, model-based definition, and PMI, product manufacturing information. Quite a lot of work in auto-dimensioning. Why should you have to dimension each feature on the part? Can't we do a lot more for you? Very powerful, this dimension checker, right? Not something we could really do in 2D because there's not enough information there, but in 3D we can tell you, is your part under constraint? What's missing tolerances, etc. The angular jogs is a very nice feature. The jog dimensions are much cleaner, much easier to deal with. Enhancements to weld symbols in 3D, one of the things that's been asked by several German customers. So a lot of work in this area. And as I was saying about the jog feature, so Ken Grundy at Pella, I don't know how popular Pella is here in Germany, but Pella's a big window manufacturer, a great Solid Edge customer for a long time. Just makes everything quicker and easier for them. You also saw, and as I was describing, when you put all your information in 3D, you could create a drawing from that. That's fine. We will retrieve the dimensions. That's still a great workflow. But if you're trying to move to a more modern basis, this 3D PDF with a carousel is really becoming very popular. We now export the PMI views with section views, so you can have section views in this carousel. And it went by very quickly, but we also highlight the parent faces when you select the annotation. So if you said something like this datum or this parallelness, and you pointed at a face, in the PDF, when you click on that, it's going to highlight that face for you. So it's a very intelligent PDF. It's not just a 3D graphic. A lot of different enhancements in this area, active work for us. And we see folks like Daniel at Kaiser really trying to get to that paperless vision. And I think Marcus was talking about it as well. It's something we can get to. I'm not going to rush you to get there. I want every customer to get there at their own pace. But it's something we can collectively get to over time. Next up is Solid Edge SaaS, and you probably know this term. It's a cloud term, right? Typically, software as a service. And what's really important about it is not that it's cloud-based stuff. That's really unimportant. What's important is it allows you to collaborate more effectively. And so what do we mean by that? Let's take a look at Teamcenter Share with Kevin.
Fully embedded in Solid Edge 2024, Teamcenter Share streamlines collaboration with all your team, partners, and customers. Users can now access Share's comprehensive suite of collaboration capabilities completely within the Solid Edge environment. Opening our Subfina super finishing machine from Teamcenter Share in Solid Edge, we get to work quickly as we look at adding threaded holes to this part we plan to 3D print. Here you'll notice the options to add additional clearance to the threads that we discussed in an earlier demo. Using the built-in data management capabilities, we can check in files to allow other users to make modifications, or check out an assembly to ensure exclusive access while we make changes. Again, with Teamcenter Share fully embedded in Solid Edge, we never have to leave the design environment as we create a project with just a few clicks. With Pack and Go and the Siemens connector, we can share the subassembly directly to Teamcenter Share. Back in Teamcenter Share, within Solid Edge, we can open the project and add users to share it. Users can be granted various access levels depending on the type of collaboration needed. We'll grant this user owner rights, giving them complete access to review, edit, delete, or reassign the project. Other access levels include review and download, and full access. Opening Viewer Markup gives us the ability to inspect the data quickly and collaborate with our team members. With the addition of threads, we want to make sure the spacing is still correct. A quick comment starts the conversation, and saving the markup makes it instantly available to our team. Creating tasks has never been easier in Solid Edge thanks to Teamcenter Share. After naming the task, users have full control to add descriptions, set priority levels, due dates and statuses, and can assign the tasks to team members. Tasks can be viewed in a variety of ways, including on your Teamcenter Share dashboard, or as we see here, in a Kanban board.
So yeah, thanks, Kevin. I'd like to point out that Kevin can actually talk without moving his mouth, which is just amazing, and I appreciate that. That's why I brought him, actually. So I want to clarify a little something about Team Center Share, because I think this is important. So you saw there, and it's pretty fast, that it's about collaborating, right? And typically it's about collaborating with your customers and suppliers. The ability to easily just say, I need to share this with person X, this is their email address, I want to allow them to just view it, but they can't download it. Or I want them to download it because I want them to make some changes. Even though it's called Team Center Share, understand you don't need to have Team Center to use this product. When you buy Solid Edge SaaS, which is when you change to using Solid Edge on a subscription basis, Team Center Share comes with it. So this ability to collaborate across your organization, I'm not talking about implementing Team Center. I'm talking about being able to share data easily. Basically, you know, in a morning, you'll be sharing data with all your customers and suppliers in a very secure environment. Now, we spent a lot of time this release to embed it very fully in Solid Edge, so it's not something separate running in your web browser. So notice it does run in your web browser, it doesn't require anything to run Team Center Share, but we also embedded it in Solid Edge to make it more available. And we leverage that built-in data management. So if you're using Solid Edge built-in data management, you can easily get that information to Team Center Share. Now, Team Center Share has been around for maybe a year now, I guess, and we've been enhancing it. So it has better onboarding, messaging, and user management. It also supports very large files. So when you're making, for example, large simulations, those can be up to 500 gigabytes with a G, 500 gigabytes, and the ability to upload that to share effectively has been enhanced in Solid Edge 2024. And we've also recognized that some customers have a giant number of files, like Marcus had his 160,000 drawings, maybe. I was at a company, Tokyo Electron in Japan. They have 17 million files. So the additional cloud storage packages allow you to use this across your organization. So, and we're seeing that, for example, at Sunny Bay Designs. Even the largest files can be uploaded and accessed faster. We feel very confident in our ability to sync files up to the cloud quickly. I think we'll compete with Dropbox or anybody else and probably be even a little bit better. We're seeing great uptake of this in our customer base and great benefits from it. So up to 25% acceleration in revisions and 80% reduced time to share designs. So when you're working with customers and suppliers, instead of emailing things around and wondering if they have the right revision, Team Center Share is the solution to that. Let's get on then to manufacturing enhancements. I feel very fortunate here that Solid Edge CAM Pro is based on NX CAM. NX CAM was originally built as part of McDonnell Douglas 40 or 50 years ago. We started the CAM business, we've grown the CAM business. It just gets better and better every year. So let's take a look at what's new.
Solid Edge CAM Pro continues to improve productivity by leveraging artificial intelligence to suggest the most frequently used machining options in a new prediction tab. No more hunting for options, the prediction tab is customized for each user. We also have a new auto-generate for 2-axis and 2.5-axis operations. For either simple turn operations or certain 2.5-axis milling, we no longer need to generate all of the operations. As soon as we have enough parameters available, the toolpath is automatically calculated for us. This means the NC programming is a lot faster and allowing users to review the results quicker. Any changes, and then recomputation is automatically done. We also now have support for prime turning. So using either the Sandbrick Prime Turn A or B turning tools, we can quickly and efficiently, safely remove material like from these undercuts. Notice how the smooth entrance and exits reduce the wear on the tools. We've also now introduced 3D adaptive roughing, which produces the most efficient machining possible. 3D adaptive roughing has reliable dynamic holder collision checking when the tool moves near the geometry. Moving on from the success of PostHub, we now have the new Cloud Connect tool library. As the name suggests, it's in the cloud. Users can access tools and holding devices from suppliers, download and modify as they need. There's also new turn milling as an operations subtype, which is designed to easily machine symmetric and eccentric cylindrical surfaces with high quality precision and cutting volume. Also, there's a new rotary mill template. which is used for pre-cut cylindrical parts before machining segments with other rotary milling operations subtypes. Back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Kevin. So again, some great enhancements there. We feel very fortunate to leverage the technology that NX has built over the years. That new 3D adaptive roughing, I think, is quite amazing and really going to improve productivity at a variety of customers. I actually love the mill turn support that we saw there. And this new prime turning, of course, if you have a lot of turn parts, it's going to be a really productive thing for you. In simulation, we continue to build out our simulation portfolio. We're very fortunate to be able to leverage other parts of the business. We, for example, merged in a company called CD Adapco some years ago that brought us some amazing technologies in meshing and fluid flow, and our partners at Flow EFD as well have allowed us to bring you some technologies here that I think are completely leading edge. Let's look.
So new for Solid Edge 2024 is the ability to import solid temperature results from SimSensor Flow EFD for Solid Edge, and we can bring these into a static simulation study. Here we see the results of the flow simulation for a heat exchanger and the temperature distribution of the fluid flow. Moving over to the simulation study, we already have a study set up which has the geometry, the mesh and the constraints. The only thing we don't have is the loads, but we can import those quickly and easily using the new import solid temperature. After a quick solve and the calculation, we can see the thermal stresses that are built up in this part. Great interoperability between Solid Edge simulation and SimSensor Flow EFD for Solid Edge allows us to understand the part behavior way before we start manufacturing real parts. As we open up this new component, we'll see that there's a study already created for an internal pressure, but we wish to go through and do some further analysis on this. There's a new capability when we're dealing with forces inside Solid Edge 2024, where we can actually define about a user-defined point. We've got a sketch set up, but we want to go through and add in an additional sketch point so we can run our new updated analysis. After placing our sketch point, we can go through and select the force, and we'll notice there's now a new user-defined point option. This really speeds up the workflow that users need to do. After applying the loads and the directions and doing a quick solve, we can get our results and we can review the model and make the necessary changes. Finally, when dealing with components that have complex mesh geometry, we can use the Check Element Quality tool, which allows users to go through and understand if there's any errors or warnings in the model. Now, we added this inside Solid Edge 2023, but new for Solid Edge 2024, we've worked on the invisibility of the results that are fed back. This gives the users the option to go through, easily understand and identify exactly where the issues are and rectify the mesh so they can continue with their studies. Back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Kevin. So a couple things there. I guess the first that it strikes me as we watch this, again, Solid Edge is so much more than a CAD system these days, right? The ability to do fluid flow analysis, the ability to take that fluid flow analysis over to stress analysis. It all comes together in Solid Edge. We've obviously continued to enhance this area significantly, the ability to bring that result in to Solid Edge, that adding force at a user-defined point. And if you're really kind of very geeky and do electronic stuff, then you'll know what IGBT compact model means. We do that really well. It's just a very complicated thing we do really well. Okay, next up is value-based licensing. And this, I think also, if I could ask your attention for this, very, very important. We have a lot of customers in the audience today who will probably say, well, that simulation looks really interesting. I'd have to do a big study to determine if it's my company can afford it. How much productivity will I have? Will I be able to get it to pay back? What's the payback? And so on. And you probably think that with many products we have, point cloud, simulation, et cetera. With value-based licensing, you don't have to think about that, and I'll tell you why.
New for Solid Edge, value-based licensing. A flexible licensing option to help you with the challenges of a rapidly changing development environment. This approach allows you to discover new Solid Edge add-on products while increasing flexibility for you and your team. Let's have a look at how value-based licensing works, starting with the base application, Solid Edge Classic or Premium. Value-based licenses offer a fully flexible environment in which users can explore different functionalities. Companies acquire a set of tokens, which allow the running of a wide array of applications. Tokens are available in yearly subscription packs that make the add-on products available as a single shareable bundle. Tokens can be checked in and out to allow for maximum flexibility. Each add-on product consumes a defined number of tokens when in use. The total number of applications and which specific applications that can be checked out is limited by the number of tokens users have available. Value-based licensing is even more flexible when combining multiple users, each with their own desktop instead of tokens. Just imagine, a worker is confronted with a maximum token limit. By having a joint token pool, the limitation is automatically lifted as he or she is able to claim unused tokens from a colleague. In this context, it's also perfectly possible for users to use the same application simultaneously, as long as the token maximum isn't reached. Value-based licensing gives you the ability to manage costs, discover new applications, and easily scale your business. In many cases, the total investment is less than individual licenses, yet the flexibility dramatically increases regardless of whether the modules are used daily or occasionally. Value-based licensing, new for Solid Edge, offers a truly flexible, cost-effective, simple-to-scale approach that reduces risk over time and encourages users to maximally explore new possibilities.
So I think this is going to be something that's valuable to virtually every company in here, but what are we talking about specifically? That's how it works, but what's in our token system? So maybe you've thought about doing some generative design at your company, but you've really, again, thought, can I justify that? Can I pay for that? When you buy a pack of tokens, they come in 25 pack or 50 pack, each one of these products is available to run, and they use a certain number of tokens. Maybe it uses 10 tokens. You've used 10 of your 50 tokens. You can run a different product. Somebody else can run a different product. So you completely can mix and match these products within your organization at any time. And as soon as somebody stops running, let's say Solid Edge simulation, those tokens come back into the pool, and you can run Solid Edge electrical routing. And if you have enough tokens, obviously you can run many of these products simultaneously across many of your users. And so as I say, they come in packs of 25 and 50, mix and match as you need. There are also some great interoperability enhancements in Solid Edge 2024. Let's take a look at those.
Engineering complexity explodes as products become more complex, product cycle times become shorter, markets and manufacturing go global, and customers demand more choice and customization. Companies need solutions that enable them to manage this complexity from product inception through to manufacturing, but do this in a simple way where we can reuse data. Teamcenter and Solid Edge are both industry-leading solutions that address these challenges with tight integration. Here we have a hand drill which has been configured with product family members, product features, and variants inside Teamcenter, and we're seeing the full 150% bill of material. We can select a single variant if we need to. This hand drill has been configured with 3 variants, and once opened inside Solid Edge, we get the options to load either the 150% unconfigured bill of material, or we can select a specific variant to load 100%. In this instance, we're going to load the basic variant first. Once selected, this is loaded inside Solid Edge, and we can go and see in the Pathfinder that we have all the sub-assemblies and parts. Everything's available to us as required. If we wish to change the variant, we can go to the Variant Configuration tab, and we can choose a different option. And this will load a new 100% configuration of the model. At any stage, we have options to go back and select 2 different variants, and this will provide us with 20% bill of material. If we were to choose the unconfigured option, then this would load the full 150% bill of material into Solid Edge. We'll choose the gold option. Once loaded, we have full read-write access, so if we need to make any modifications, we can do. In this instance, we just need to reposition the label onto the battery. Thanks, Dan.
All right, good stuff there. So I know some folks in this room use Teamcenter and more are looking at it. Solid Edge has an amazing integration with Teamcenter, and this Teamcenter variance capability extremely powerful. I know many of you have things like that, different paint finishes, different materials, and so on, and the ability to configure that right in Solid Edge to take advantage of the digital twin is very powerful in Solid Edge 2024. We also have made great enhancements with our interoperability with NX. Marcus was talking about MCD, Mechanical Concept Designer. We've made enhancements to make it integrated more with Solid Edge, but also the PMI that we were talking about, the ability to view those in NX and them look exactly the same as they look in your Solid Edge environment. And really, we're continuing to work with the rest of the Accelerator portfolio and broaden our integration with it. So for example, our tech pubs and our Solid Edge Inspector, those work with Teamcenter Share now, and Solid Edge Inspector works with Siemens Op Center and Teamcenter Quality. Olivier at Group Seb, if you don't know Group Seb, they make Krups, Molenex, Tefal, All-Clad, basically anything that's in your kitchen, they make with Solid Edge. But it really allows them to use all the Siemens solutions together, including Solid Edge. One of the last areas I want to talk about is translation and migration. Now, I know that you're Solid Edge customers generally here, but you use data from other systems quite a bit because maybe your suppliers or customers don't use Solid Edge, or large companies are consolidating. Solid Edge is the best place to come to consolidate your CAD systems for a variety of reasons. The synchronous technology that Marcus spoke of allows you to edit data from other systems. We have amazing migrators from SolidWorks and other CAD systems to come to Solid Edge. So one of the things we've done is enhanced CAD Direct. If you haven't heard of CAD Direct, what CAD Direct lets you do is work with a file from a supplier, let's say a SolidWorks file, without translation and without having an intermediate file. And that second part is the most important part. So when you bring a file from SolidWorks, you typically translate to Solid Edge, then use the Solid Edge file, the assembly, and then you get a new SolidWorks file and you retranslate and you use again. You don't have to do any of that. You just use the SolidWorks file in the Solid Edge assembly directly. There's no intermediate file, and we've enhanced that. So we had previously supported SolidWorks, NX, JT, and STEP. We now also support Inventor, Creo, CATIA, and ASYS as well. As I mentioned, we have some amazing migration tools. Probably our SolidWorks migration is the best. We have many people coming from SolidWorks to Solid Edge. We migrate assembly constraints, materials, whole tables, associative drawings. Really, your data comes across with amazing fidelity from SolidWorks. We've continued to enhance that. We've added DWG and DXF mesh import and a variety of other enhancements. Now, as I close things out here, I want to remind you that there are now two ways to purchase Solid Edge. So you can purchase Solid Edge today, as you have been probably doing, as a perpetual license. You buy Solid Edge, you perhaps buy a maintenance contract, and you get the updates to Solid Edge as you are here in the room today. But there is also a new way to buy Solid Edge called Solid Edge SaaS. And so I was talking, in fact, with Boimer, Christian at Boimer last night, and they've moved to Solid Edge SaaS. And what Solid Edge SaaS does is provides you Solid Edge on a subscription basis, so it's easier to go up or down licenses. And it also means that you get some of these extra capabilities like the value-based licensing, the Teamcenter Share, all of that comes with your Solid Edge SaaS subscription. And so I invite you to look at Solid Edge SaaS more closely and talk with your ESAP representative. So today we've only been able to really scratch the surface. I hope I've highlighted some of the key things to you. But if you want to learn more about Solid Edge 2024, you can, of course, grab a snap of the QR code, but you may not have time to do that. Easy to find, siemens.com/Solid Edge 2024. So easy to find and follow up. Also, the presentation I've given today, if you go up on YouTube, you'll find a complete presentation very much like what we've talked about today. I also invite you to join the Solid Edge community. This is your opportunity to share with other users, talk with my development team, talk with experts, or be an expert. And so that's found at community.sw.siemens.com. And then I would also invite you to look at this hour of engineering. I think this is something unique in industry. Siemens has said, we're going to invest in future engineers. We're going to help students in that 6 to 9 grade level understand, what does an engineer do? How do they do things? Is it going to be something I'd enjoy? Go to hourofengineering.com and you can check it out. It's completely free. And finally, if there's anyone in here who's not a Solid Edge customer, you could certainly try Solid Edge for free using our free 30-day trial. And as you saw very quickly there, if you go to Discovery Center inside of Solid Edge, you can also try other products like MBD product, for example, easy to try. And with that, I'd like to bring things to a close. I am feeling very privileged to be here with you all in Germany today and very happy to share the good news of Solid Edge 2024 with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you, Kevin, for this presentation.